Okay, good afternoon, folks. Excuse me just a second. So I've just switched my mic off, switched my mic over and accidentally. And I'll say hello. Center is running. Okay. Excuse me a second. Where's my camera then? Ah, there I am. Okay, so let me just adjust this a second. There we go. Oh, too high. Come down, come down, come down. There we go. It's about right, isn't it? Okay, so a bit of a tricky day yesterday. Having said that, I actually took a strange day yesterday. I took, let's have a look. Karina, good morning to you. Jan, how you doing, buddy? So I took a couple losses yesterday. I looked at those trades I took. The one I was surprised it lost, actually. Let me see if I can find it. I was surprised it lost. Where was it? I'm going to find it now. I can't find where it was now. It surprised me. What I will say is I don't know whether it's just me. I mean, it was a tricky day yesterday. There was loads of chop. I mean, this stuff was just horrible. So there was loads of chop, but I don't know this MES chart. I don't know. I don't have as much success with it. Whether it's just me. What I will say about the trade I took yesterday, one of them, it was a little bit congested, but it was a leg down and 2 attempts to go higher. So I'm surprised it didn't work. But I did take 2 more trades later. Now, I shouldn't really do that. I've just adjusted my... I had my Guardian Angel trader disconnected for some reason. I don't know why I did it, but it's all sorted now, so I can't get into it now. It's all locked out. So it's locked out with 2 trades, but I did take 2 more trades. And they both worked. And I think I ended up about between $50 and $70 up in the end. So considering I was 300 odd down. But I'm taking riskier trades. I don't know. It's very hard to kind of find your mojo and stay in that level. Possibly a small break there. Let's just have a look at this. Let's just get an order up there. See if we get a second entry short. I kind of like this channel. Now, have we bounced off overnight lows? I'm not sure. Could adjust that slightly. In fact, that fits better with the bottoms. Let's see if we get a second entry short here. It's not looking like it. We'll see. See what happens now. Leg with a break. New high or matching high. Let's have a look. Okay, Exponential, how you doing? Little Hammers, how you doing? Okay, 2 legs up the bearish bar. I don't like it. It's too high up. Tony, how you doing? Me too. I don't do too well in the MES. No, I don't know what it is. We'll see if this... Now, you know, part of me wants to go back onto the minis. The trouble is, even with 1 contract, your average loss is $300. Now, I've got 7 counts. I've lost a couple, to be honest with you. I've got 8 at the moment. That's it. But 7 of them are between 2,700 and a little over 3,000. So hopefully I can get a payment. If I get another sort of 3 out of the next 5 profitable days, I should be able to take 7,000 out this month, which I probably need actually, because I've probably spent about $1,500 this month in fees, accounts and stuff. I've just had a bad month for some reason. I don't know why. I seem to have 3 really good stable months. Yes, seems to move cleaner. It does. Let's just get rid of this.
Order
yeah,
canceled.
I don't know why. 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test? Something about this I don't like. Price is holding them on that EMA, but I don't know whether it's me taking riskier trades. I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe it is. It's quite hard to. It's kind of like walking a tightrope, isn't it? If you can get that balance perfect, things just run smoothly. But the second you get a little bit of wind and a wobble, you tend to fall off the wagon. But yeah, if we can get that ATR down, what is it at the moment? It's 6. If we can get it down even to the 4s, I'll move over to the to the minis. As I say, a trade I took yesterday, I thought it was going to work. I really did. And it just didn't. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's very hard to be consistent all the time. You know, I mean, I look at people like Nutty and Alpine. They're constantly blowing accounts, but they're making money. And I am as well. So, I mean, I don't know whether I let it get to me a bit too much. Maybe I should just kind of play the game and not worry about too much about the detail. But I'm just trying to focus on... Do you want to talk or not? No? Okay, excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, this looks like it's having a push up to me. Trouble is, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing people like Nutty and that. I mean, Nutty's expenses so far in the last 3.5 months are about 15,000. So he spent 15,000 on evaluations, but he's made about 80,000. So he's 65,000 up. So even with blowing accounts, he just tends to get more and move on. So perhaps I'll let it. I don't kind of want to be like that. I think if you're blowing accounts regularly, you're taking silly risks. Now, I don't mean that nasty to anybody else, but me personally, I feel like the accounts I've blown are the ones I've taken stupid risks on. Whenever I get a new account, I just try and take a bigger risk and go for a few more points to give it a boost. Does anybody else do that? You know, you get a new account and you may go for 2 or 3 contracts and just try and grab a quick 5 points just to give that account. Well, to be honest with you, bud, sometimes I've had to ask myself the question, am I gambling at times? Now, it's strange because I've never, what I call, been addicted to anything. Now, in my younger days, I smoked a little bit, but people used to hate me because I could have a smoke when I had a beer and then not touch them for months. So I've never really been addicted to anything. I've never been a gambler. It's just never excited me. But, you know, sometimes I have to take that. You know, sometimes when I get a new account, I think, oh, well, this looks like it's coming down. Let's just go a little bit heavy on this and see if I can get the account a boost. I think it's just probably a little bit of lack of self-belief that you can get it up yourself, and probably more than gambling, just a lack of impatience. I mean, we hear that story a million times, haven't we? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Can you get rich in time? The potential's there. But I think it's more important about getting a decent living, you know, 80, 100, 120, 200,000 a year, whatever. You know, the average everyday Joe doesn't do that. And if we can work for ourselves and work a few hours a day and earn 100,000 a year, you're not doing too bad. You're going to have a much better lifestyle. I mean, what am I, 23,500 for the year. I think it's safe to say there's probably 3,000 to 5,000 of that in fees. I've done 1,500 this month. I had a month where I didn't spend anything. So let's say 3,000 maximum. So I'm up 20,000 in the first 3 months. So there's a potential for 80,000. Now, every year I get better and better. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if I can get to 100,000 this year. I mean, who earns 100,000 a year? Not your average everyday Joe. And if they do, they're working ridiculous hours. So if we've had 2 legs up, see if we can get a lower high or a failure. So, you know, I tend to average about 3.5 hours a day on average, something like that. Now, I wouldn't even consider that part-time. I'd consider that more semi-retired. Some people have gamble problems with this. Have to be careful. Keep blowing. Yeah. It's very easy to get into that mentality, isn't it? For me, I don't think it's so much gambling. I think it's just lack of patience. I want it quicker than it takes. I want my account to have a boost. You know what I mean? Is that common? Does anybody else do that? I don't know. I'm trying to rush it, I think. But then I keep telling myself, but if you think about all the accounts I've blown over the last year or so, if I'd have just not rushed them, where would they be now? They'd be huge. So looking at this ES, we've had 2 legs up, a lower high. I expect that to come back to the EMA, which it did. Now, there's going to be liquidity down here and down here as well. Now, this looks like a channel with a break, so I expect this to get down at least down to here somewhere and maybe test these lows, but it is still early. I mean, we could still be working up. If we can get below that EMA and then maybe trap along, we may have an option there, but I've noticed a lot of my losing trades are in congestion. I'm a good trader, but I can't keep tilting patience under control. Yeah. I'm guessing, buddy, with time, that'll get less and less. Now, a trader told me who'd been trading years, said he did that. Now, he said, his words are now, I've got no time for gamblers and chancers. And he feels hypocritical about that because he used to be one. But he said with time, you just get that fed up of doing the same thing. Something just starts to change and you just give up trying. So possible failure here on the 2000 tick chart. So we've got a second entry long. If this thing's coming down, this is kind of where I expect it to come down. You can see it here, look. Let's see how this pans out here. My only issue is it is slightly choppy there. It's not super clear. So I think really it's
Order
looking
canceled.
at what you do. I've lost my patience. I just leave, close. Do you know what? And I mean this. I think women make better traders. I think guys are stubborn. We don't like to lose. We've got this kind of manly, gung-ho type attitude. Not all of us. Whereas women, I think, you know, how many times do you see on YouTube where, I don't know, it's a Saturday night in London and you've got 2 blokes beating the hell out of each other because they've had a skinful, a load of beer, and the women who've drunk equally as much are trying to drag them apart. So for me, women probably make better traders because I think they're generally a bit calmer. I don't know if anybody else feels about that, but I think women make better traders. But, you know, a few people have said to me now, it will go with time. And that's where you kind of separate the men from the boys, whereas a lot of people will get to that stage and think this is going nowhere and they give up. Whereas if you just persevere and just keep pushing, women a bit. I think they are, because they're generally calmer, aren't they? We're just full with too much testosterone, and sometimes you get a little bit too excited or you feel a bit threatened, and we tend to jump, don't we, before we think. When I lose my patience, I start blasting away at a Pixicur bath. I mean, I lived in a military family. And when I was about 16, we're based over in Northern Ireland, in Omagh in Northern Ireland, and the guy who used to do the mobile discos there in the evenings in the NAFI was a friend of my stepdad's at the time, and I started working for him, and I can't tell you, at the end of the night, blokes would just drink and just beat the living daylights out of it, and that's kind of, you know, work hard, play hard, and guys can be like that. I had my fair share of punch-ups when I was younger. I think like a lot of guys do, they go through that phase, don't they? And but we do struggle more than women to control our emotions. I think this looks like a shoulder ahead and the shoulder. I think this is probably going to come down now. Trouble is we've got no entry. But I think it's important to just remember that this still is a little bit sideways, so you can get caught going short here. It looks a bit clearer on the 2000 tick. It's a little bit side. I mean, yesterday was just horrible. I should know better about trading that. I mean, look at that. It's so hard to trade unless you're super experienced. Someone like Mac can probably get away with it, but, you know, we've even heard Mac say 1,000 times, the smart traders are just staying out of all this. And the dumb ones like me yesterday ended up taking a couple of losses. But I think it's important to just keep on top of that discipline. Brandt, that second entry long was tempting. About down here somewhere. Yeah. See, that channel looks kind of okay to me. 2000 tick chart looks the same. So I'm expecting a new low. But it is going sideways, so maybe it might range. But what I will say is if you look at this, at the moment we seem to be... let's use this one. Sort of, we're doing this, aren't we? So I hate that. So this to me seems more like the logical, well, it looks like it, doesn't it? Now we're below this. Let's see if this we get breakout pullback. But I think these lows are quite likely. Now, with the lows of the day are here, highs of the day up here, so you know it looks rangy, so I think it's logical it comes off the top and probably heads to the bottom. I just need to keep my discipline. It's very hard to get everything working right every single time you trade, but let's have a look. So Thomas Wade has got this same channel break, so he'll be expecting a new low. Unfortunately, there's no real entry. We push up and just turn. It'd be nice to have a second entry short off this area, but I don't know whether we will. We may do. I mean, that's a key level for me. I dare say there's probably going to be buyers there. The trouble is, sometimes when we get this clear picture that we're coming down, it just comes down and doesn't give us any kind of... But we've had a little break out of here, so maybe it may test these levels here. I'm just going to get an order up here just in case. So we've got some news. 6:30. I should be done by then anyway. But did anybody watch Mac's video yesterday? He said he wouldn't pay too much attention to the speaker, but if you remember, the second it's turned 1:30 or 2:30, whatever it was, or 3 o'clock, the market shut up. So I would say any medium impact news now be flat for. Because medium impact news these days often has the same effect of the high impact news. It just rockets. So that I would say will be an interesting level. Okay, we've just pushed below that now. So I'm expecting these lows to get broken, whether it does it now or whether it pulls back first. So they are the lows from this range. So we've got this leg down. That looks to be like a correction. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get down here. So we may get a leg and a leg. I'm not paying too much attention to that bit. Okay, so we got a matching low there. Noon Central. Big jump on news. Missed it on his video. He did, didn't he? Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't remember that. So, strong buying off that level there, right at the bottom. I mean, that's a 30 tick bar straight off that level. Paolo, how you doing, buddy? Now, I am just keeping an eye on a slightly different chart as well. I've got one to my right, just the 60-minute level, just the hourly. I'd like to learn to swing trade this stuff as well. Something a bit quieter and a little bit slower. So I'm just picking out these levels where prices pushed into, pulled out, pushed into, pulled out, pushed into a bunch of times, and then finally down. So I'm just keeping an eye on these and seeing if I can't pick up what's going on a little bit. Just out of curiosity. So up to the top, big bearish bar. Now there's strong buying off there, so and that may be an overshoot, so I'm not in a hurry to short that. So in fact, if I bring this down here, what does the midline look like? Not terrible. Pushed up, tested this area. Second entry short would have been interested, but this thing looks like it's going one way, doesn't it? Less time consuming. Have you ever thought about making the switch? I thought not so much making a switch, but maybe just doing it as, I don't know, maybe a sideline. I think the most obvious reason for me is it's slower and less stressful. Now, the quicker these markets move, the quicker you see prices and dollars flying up and down before your eyes. There's a lower high there. There's probably a couple of bars trapped there. We haven't hit the lows. So, but I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? If it's now, when I first learned to trade, the guy said to me, he said, everybody suits a different style of trading. Some people are very calm, very methodical, may, you know, suit better swing traders. Some people prefer fast moving life. They like being under pressure. They like making quick decisions, and they might suit, you know, traders working on a slower time, on a quicker time frame, maybe like scalpers, or more, you know, the short, maybe the 2 minutes or the 5 minutes, or, you know, however you categorize them. So I'd like to just maybe learn a little bit more about it. Now, if you can read price and read, you know, the charts, as Max says, you can trade any time frame. So this would work just as well on the 10 minute, the 15 minute, the 30 minute. So analysis, content, just as much price action. Yeah. The thing is, you have a little bit more time to think. You know, sometimes you can have your chart wrong, you can reread the market. So it's like anything, the more time you have to think and plan, the better job you generally do. So sometimes I make a mistake as opposed to a bad decision. So I certainly don't think it's a bad idea. You know, having extra strings to your bow, I think, you know, can only maybe help you in life. So I just thought I'd just keep an eye on the hourly. I may have a look at the 15 minutes. I mean, just to kind of pick these areas, or, you know, just to see how price moves. We've still got that. Did we gap down? Oh, we did, yeah. We filled it though, haven't we? Yeah, we have, yeah.
Order canceled.
I think I just need to keep my patience and discipline. I think that's probably what's let me down the last kind of few days. Fortunately, ATR came down about to 5, so I switched over to the mini, and I took a trade on the mini yesterday. I took 2 trades. The first one was a little bit risky. It went. The second one was a nice trade, and that worked. And I think I ended up around about $40 to $70. Obviously, you know, depending on a tick here or a tick there. I don't just know how to work swings. I just don't know how to work swings. Yeah, when I see base charts, looks very different. Yeah, I mean, any type of trading that you do will only help you. You know, I think for a good trader, just to sort of move on to a different style will be a lot easier than a new trader coming into these markets. But you know, I trade price action. I trade sort of with Mac. You know, he's been trading now. It's got to be 28 years. He's successful, making money for a long time. Very good at what he does. But he has said on numerous occasions, price action, trading this style works on any chart and any time frame. In fact, he said if you take away any time, and obviously the faster moving, you can see them moving, but if you freeze framed everything and took away the time, you wouldn't know whether you were looking at the, you know, the 2000 tick chart or the daily. And I mean, if we switch on to the daily, price action works the same. So it makes sense if you want to slow things down, you trade a slower chart. But I mean, if you look at that, it kind of works the same. We had a choppy day. You know, this looks like a choppy day we had yesterday, for instance. But if you look at the price action, we had a channel down, 2 legs up, price came down. We had a higher low there, back up to the EMA. So, you know, it does work the same. There's obviously a learning curve, you know, moving on to a slightly different chart. I suppose it makes sense, but, you know, but, still struggling to find in swings. Yeah, it's so hard to swing trade this stuff. You know, if you get into a good setup so many times, it'll move down a bit, come back and take you out. This thing tends to constantly grab liquidity if it's close to it. So it's a lot harder to swing trade this. You know, occasionally they work if you get a nice channel down and you get a really nice correction. Often that's the center of the pattern and you get another leg. So those types of trades, you know, I find triple tests as well work really well and then move. So I see that higher low on the daily, the Enki, yes. Where would you enter? Where do you put your stop? Excuse me a sec. So I mean the daily, I don't know. Let's have a look at the daily. So this is the daily on the ES. So I'll try not to touch this. Sometimes it freezes up for some reason when I switch. Let's just go back. And now it goes to the daily. So let's just flick over to the daily again and not touch it. Doesn't seem to like this for some reason. I mean, really, the daily, you should work exactly the same way. You just put your stops exactly at the, you know, see, if you look at this, we got a kind of breakout pullback, couple of bullish bars, comes up to the top, triggers, you know, you may take that. But I think if you're a Pats trader, you just trade it exactly the same way. The trouble is, it kind of sounds, you know, price action trading. We all understand what a good setup is. The trouble is, it's having that discipline to sit and wait for something that's very obvious. Now, that may change slightly as your skill level kind of grows, but you know, I took a trade yesterday. I liked it. I thought it was going to work. Now, the only thing I could say is it's a bit congested, but it was still quite clear. So I was really surprised it didn't work. Let me see if I can find it. That was it there. Now, I think the choppiness. So let me tell you what I thought about this trade. So I see this move down. So we've got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So you've got a higher low here, a bullish bar, that triggers and comes down immediately. So we've got to push down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt. I was expecting this to come down to the lows. Now, it's a second entry short. It's a failure trapping a higher low. So why didn't it work? The only natural thing I can see is the fact that it's a bit congested. But, you know, it's always good to trap traders, but you've got a bullish bar there which triggers and immediately comes down. So I was surprised that didn't work. But it was a kind of a choppy day. And I suppose if I look at it now in the coal light today, price is actually moving up a bit. So maybe that's why it did work, but it came down to here and then pushed up. Now, if I was trading that on the 2000 tick chart, which I don't think you could see on that, it probably still came down 3 points. Yeah, it did. But just looking at the small time frame, leg down, 2 attempts to push high, you expect a new low, but there's obviously something going on there. Yeah, I really was surprised that didn't work. Now, it is a bit congested, but I heard Max say once, you can trade congestion as long as you can read it. And we've got a push up, a kind of a little pullback, another push up, and then a big drop. But the only 2 reasons I can see is it's going up, it's moving up a touch, so there's a slight bullish imbalance, and maybe it's a bit of congestion. But it's one of those trades, if you don't take it, a lot of times it'll work. If you do take it, sometimes it may not. But it's not what I will call a great setup, but I don't think it's a terrible setup. But it's one of those things, isn't it? It looks like it would. It looks like it. Yeah, I mean, it worked for. It actually worked for more than you think. But because this ATR is a bit higher, I'm going for a few more points. If I'd have been going for my normal sort of 3, 3.25, and if I'd have got in there, it would have just worked. But, you know, I mean, if you're a scalper, a 0.6 ticks, no problem, it worked. I just can't bring myself to go back to a point or even 6 ticks. If I do 3 times a point. So, you know, every 2 or 3 trades, you can afford to buy yourself a free loss token. So there are going to be more losses, but for me, it's financially better. That's how I see it anyway, but, you know, not everyone's the same. So, sorry if I'm talking a bit today. Sometimes I feel like just getting stuff off my chest. I'm just wondering if there's something larger there. Couple of people have put that. Which doesn't look terrible. What the hell? That was the one I was just going to take the colour out of. It fits the bottom quite nice. That's confusing it. Let's just delete that a minute. So it's working nice on the midline. So maybe it is. You know, just, I don't know, maybe it was a bit too congested. I don't even remember seeing it on the 2000 tick chart. I think that was it, wasn't it? What was it? It was here. That was it there. So what did it look like on the 2000 tick chart? Okay, so that looks right. Okay, now that clearly looks a bit more congested. Yeah, it's much more sideways, that, isn't it? Now that might be a fail breakout, but on here, it was there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see this pullback. We push up, we go sideways, we push up. But maybe it's a little fail breakout, but you know, sometimes you could sit here all day and mull these things over, and you just got to learn. I think the answer of that is one, there's a slight bullish imbalance, and two, it is a bit congested. So perhaps I should have left that. Trouble is, when you sit here all day, you we're looking for trades, aren't we? And it was a trade, granted, but it wasn't a very good one. And sometimes those ones, they just, sometimes they're just a bit more risky. And I think that was probably the simple answer. So let's see if we can get something here that may interest us. So channel. See, I'm relying on this. Now the downtrend has played out, so I will expect developments. A bit too early for me to trust anything wider. That's Thomas Wade's. So maybe there isn't anything wider, but is this a channel here? Excuse me a sec. So this looks like a channel here. Let's just get rid of the larger one just for a minute. What does this look like? Doji, don't like that. I just need to keep me discipline. Tell you what I'll do. I'll draw that. I'll just kill the colour. So it's an area of interest rather than... It's an area of interest rather than fact. So one attempt to push up, second attempt to push up. I think what I'm going to have to do as well, some of these trades I take, I think I'm better waiting for the lower high just to give that a little bit more confirmation. So is that looking like a failed breakout of this little bit of a range here on the ES? So down has got that. Is that right? Yeah. Something like that, I think. So, channel up, break, new high. Or is it? No, we've crossed up, pushed up and then pushed down. Okay, so that's what Dan's got. Well, that was 250. So 25 minutes ago. That there. So that big push down, little pull back, a drop again. It's that little touch there, and then again there. So I've got to say he's very accurate. He's about as close to Mac as I've seen, to be honest with you. He's almost like a mini version of Mac. As we know, Mac does some unusual charts sometimes, unusual kind of weird and wonderful ones, but he obviously knows what he's doing. So channel with a break. So it's I mean, you could argue there may be a lower high there, but it's congested again. I think that's where I'm going wrong with a few of my losses. I'm trading a bit too much congestion. And that is a little bit sideways. So I've got to start staying out of stuff like that and waiting for something a bit clearer. I think that'll help me. I've just slipped into a few little bad habits, and I think it's looking back on your trades. The last couple of days, I've been having a good look at my trades and seeing them in the cold light of day. What do I think? And so channel break, new high, lower high. Is this going to work down? Quite possibly. But here on the chart I'm trading, it's just a bit too congested. So I'm just going to have to sit tight here. So we dropped out at the bottom and immediately pushed up. I mean, that went up about 6 or 7 points quickly. So looking at this now, there's a big strong bull bar there, right off that key entry point. So if you were taking a short either there or there on the 2000 tick chart, you're going to be concerned, aren't you? You know, according to this thing, we could make a leg sideways and another leg. There's certainly space up to here if you like this channel. I can't see this failing. That's a strong move, that is. So I think those two bars, certainly that one, there's a lower high there. I think that's vulnerable, super vulnerable. Unless this thing has a failure and this comes straight down. It looks like it may. Yeah, look at that. So you'd have to say now, if that gets below that EMA, that thing's in trouble. Yeah, absolutely. Trouble is, I've got nothing on here. There's still space to the top, so it could trigger that bar out and then still maybe push up. I'll be amazed if that stopped it. Well, there we go. So if you got into that, I actually didn't. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have taken that. Why? Because it's counter trend trade in my opinion, and it's sideways. but I would have been sure that was going to push up and just take out that area. But obviously this market's bearish at the moment, so that survived, and that one got taken straight out. So look at this now. We're down below here now. I couldn't take that unless we get a breakout pullback. But this channel looks kind of valid. We'll see. Still having trouble breaking through resistance in the downtrend. Yeah, he took the fell second entry long. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when that came down there, you'd have to say that was going to get stopped out, wouldn't you? So there's definitely some points to be made there. So, I mean, if you get in there, even just to this area, you've got 3 points comfortably. But as it's done that, I will be surprised then if it now makes another attempt to push up. So I think now that's probably the safest place, and this thing will probably slowly dribble down. So if there is a channel here with a break, new high, made 2 attempts to push higher, a clear attempt to push higher there, which failed monumentally and quickly. So you'd have to think now the safest place for your stop would be here. And I think the chance of getting below here, so you've got a bullish, well, you've got a bullish bar there and a higher low there. So, you know, that would be your target, I suppose, unless something changes. But so this is a move down. I expect probably a little pullback. If we can get a breakout pullback, trouble is we've come quite far now, so it's not far away. I mean, we're about 5 points from the lows away there, so it might just follow through. We'll see. Nothing on here really that you can take, unfortunately. We had a failure there, and when that started coming down, you kind of got to feel sorry for the bulls there. Yeah, well, we get a lower high. Trouble is, when you know when the direction's quite clear, often it just doesn't come back. It just continues down. So I'm hoping we may get something. Trap a few longs here, maybe. I'm just going to open
order submitted.
Here. Yeah, it's just it can't get up there. You know, we've pushed up and then dropped immediately back down, so I can't see us getting anything here.
Order cancelled.
Pal day. See, you know, I looked at my calendar. Now, we have Easter in the UK, and it says UK, England and Ireland and Wales, New Zealand and Canada. Now, I know Canada's the Commonwealth, so, but I didn't think you guys had Easter in the US, because I've not got it down as a holiday. But with you mentioning hard train today, yes, I think it's been hard the last couple of days, but yeah, it's not easy, is it? I had 2 trades that got my stop before. Yeah, you know, on days like this where it's choppy, the thing just seems to pick off these stops unless it's something really obvious. But you can get away with a bit more than me because you go for a smaller kind of profit. But if it's giving you problems as well, I get why you think it's tricky, for sure. Yeah, that's the trouble when it is choppy like this. Any type of bar that may, you know, have a little bit of liquidity, i.e. a few stops, tends to just get chopped up. You know, I suppose it's getting these big pullbacks, isn't it, and trying to get in there. But the trouble is, you wait for a second entry long and you just don't get one. Lower high. There's one there, but you're at the bottom of the move, so you know. So is there no trading Friday and Monday? I thought there was, unless it's half day. I didn't think you guys had Easter. Or is it just me? Am I just missing the picture? Oh, dear me. Right, let's have a zoom out here. So, I mean, we had this channel here, and we pull back to this area, to the EMA, and then drop. But there's no real order there, is there, for us? Now, how close did we get to that bottom there? Very close. So, is that close enough that it's not going to make another attempt? So, big bearish bar. You'd have to think that's going to push down. But I can't, the bar's enough anyway. I can't take it because it's not a second entry. What I will say, I don't know, you may argue it's kind of a failure. It's trapping the bull bar there, but then we came down and then reversed a little bit. So it's just, it's starting to look a bit rangy to me now. So let's push this up here. Yeah. Starting to look a bit sideways. So taking a trade here might not be the best option. I mean, the bar was naff anyway, but maybe it's a channel down, one attempt, second attempt, maybe this. Why consider this as two attempts? Where's Jan's tool? There. I love these. Makes life so much easier. So maybe we get something like that. I mean, if we can get rejection up here, I wouldn't mind that. We've definitely pushed down, had a little bounce here. We've had a bounce there and a little bit along here a few times. So if we can get another one here. After a break, if it makes two attempts to push low, then it could go up. But after a break, if it makes two attempts to push higher, I'd expect it to go down. I wouldn't take this. It's too early, not with all this. And there is going to be liquidity above here. So for me, I would have to kind of get above here, really, I think would be the safer bet. If we can get above there or close to it. So on the 2000 tick chart, we've got a channel with a break and a new high. So it needs to be a bit higher for me. I mean, you could bring that down there, couldn't you? But I'd be hoping. If you watch the higher time frame, you have a triple bottom. Yeah, just looked at the hourly. We've had a few bounces there. I still like it to at least, well, I don't know. It's just one of those things. See, for me, if this is a channel, I'd expect at least two attempts to push lower. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But also, if this is a bigger channel, we're not getting down the bottom. 10,000 tick chart, 3 bottoms. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd still like to get a bit lower if we can. Maybe channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. We'll see what happens. Keep that in my eye line anyway. See, looking at it now, we've still got this channel, so a leg and a leg. If we can get a bit higher, that would be a second entry short. So I would expect it just to get above this area. If this thing grabs some liquidity before it moves down, this is kind of where it needs to get above, really. So I've got to keep an eye on that. So we're at this level now, so channel with a break and a new high. I'd have preferred to get above there, really. Okay, now let's see what happens now. I mean, if this is a channel, we have come away from the bottom, which could mean we move up a little bit. So let's just get rid of that a sec. Where's my measured move tool? Let's just have a quick measured move there. So that is a measured move. I went short as well, but I want to confirm. Yeah, I think the safest option sometimes is a lower high. I could have saved myself a bunch of losses by waiting for a lower high. If you wait for a lower high, the chance of getting trapped is a lot slimmer. Okay, we're at the top of this thing here now. Now, I'm not in a rush to go short at the moment until we get something significant. So what I'll say, looking on this chart here, the 2000 tick chart on the left, we've got this channel with a break and a new high. So if we can get 2 legs up, get a bearish bar, and then a lower high, I expect to get back to the EMA. So at the moment, we're still in the right place. If we can get a lower high here, I'd expect this to come down to the EMA. But waiting for the lower high is the safer bet. So let's just put that
Order
up there.
submitted.
If we get a lower high, the chance of that getting stopped out before we get back to the EMA is slim. Now, this may look like one chart, but on the 2000 tick chart, you can clearly see there's a tight little channel there with a break. Clearly see 3 big bars, then we go sideways, then we push up. So we need a lower high here. Which we're not getting. We are on opening price level now. Yeah, we are. So let's see if we get a lower high. So we've bounced off there, haven't we? So 2000 tick chart, we've got a bearish bar, we've got a bullish bar here, which is triggered. So if this starts to come down, then I expect that to get to the EMA and trap out that bull bar. That's if. Okay, we've now triggered this. Let's see if we get a lower high. I'm not holding my hopes up. Hmm.
Order canceled. Order submitted.
Okay, wow. So we got a lower high there, but this thing, it hasn't quite closed on its lows. So something about this I'm not loving. It's a little bit congested. No,
Order
something like that.
canceled.
No, it's definitely congested. Yeah. So we've got a lower high there, but there's a bit of a stem there. So really, you want a failure here, don't you, before it's worth going short? I mean, it may come down. What I will say is, if you look at that 2000 tick chart, there's quite a strong bullish there, bullish bar, which is floating in the middle of nowhere. So I expect that if I was in that long trade there, I'd expect to get stopped out. So I think price has got a good chance of getting to that level there. But the trouble is, it's a little bit congested here. So that just adds to your risk a little bit. Trouble is, when it does go like this, the chance of you getting into trouble increases. You think it's slightly bullish. Yeah, I mean, on here, I've got a clear tight channel with a break. One attempt to go higher. If we get a failure here, then that might be a better option to go short. So let me just draw my channel on this one here. Based on this. Is that not working? Based on there. So let's draw that. That looks okay to me. We've had a break. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. Let's see if this gets up. I won't want to be short now, put it that way. So I'm glad I stayed out of there. It is a bit congested. It's not super clear. There's a bit of a stem. On my chart, we're not really trapping much in the way of traders there. So on the 2000 tick chart, we've now ticked above this big bullish bar here. So that would be a failure, but it's just sideways, isn't it? I mean, if I zoom out of this, I could certainly make that fit. In fact, if I remember rightly, I'm sure Dan had it to here, which would give you that little bit of... just have a look at Dan's chart again. Yeah. Dan's actually got a lot lower than I thought. He's not taken this first swing. He's gone to the lower one. I still wouldn't want to go short here. So he hasn't taken that first swing. He's got it down here. Is that right? No, it's different on my chart. He's got it about there, I think. So, yeah, something like that. Trouble is, if you don't get your chart right, it's not as effective. Who's Dan's chart? Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Dan's chart's on the it's on the ES. So Dan is going from about there, I think. Which actually is kind of very similar. Trouble is, we're at there now. So yeah, I'm just staying out of all this short stuff at the moment anyway. Yeah, he hasn't taken that first swing. He's gone down to about here. There. Which is kind of where we are now. Trouble is, very tempting to think about going short here. So we've had a channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. If we get a lower high here, I'd expect that to get to the EMA. Trouble is, it's really hard going lately. It really is. I'm finding it hard. I think it's a bit tougher conditions at the moment, and I think the thing that's let me down, certainly in the last couple of days, is discipline, I think. Keeping those high quality trades. If you take anything bar a high quality trade now, unless you're completely lucky, you get crucified, which does mean less trades. But to be honest with you, fortunately, I ended up in the green at the end of the day yesterday, but I was about $350 down per account. Now, I'd have been much better off taking those trades. The trouble is, every time you lose a trade, you've got to make the equivalent of 1 to 1.5 just to more or less get back to where you were. So I think unless you have a great obvious trade, you're so much better just to not even bother. Now, that's quite a distinctive move down. We got a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So we need to get below this EMA now, giving us a... We have had 2 legs up. So I think the chance of us coming down is getting a little bit higher now. But, you know, on days where it's been so choppy lately and you know, the ATR is a lot higher, which in a lot of cases increases your risk. You've got to be super... see my comment above about Dan, very discouraging for the strategy, but not losing hope. Let's have a look. I think Dan's saying he hasn't taken a live trade over the week. Is a good indication the strategy is not working. Yeah, maybe not some. Well, yeah, I suppose you could say it that way. Just too tricky. So yeah, that kind of coincides to what I've just said. Conditions are hard, and you've got to be super. I'm glad you pointed that out, mate. Did your revenge trade to get back? No, I switched on to the mini. I took a good setup, but I switched on to the mini. And I ended up, I think I lost a few ticks here and there. I ended up between $30 and $70. I think $38 and $70. But the conditions are hard, so you've got to be really super disciplined. So if Dan hasn't taken a trade yet, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That speaks volumes. In fact, I took a photo of the trade I took, I think. Let me have a look at it. Hate saying that. Guru is not words. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. It just means you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. The trouble is, it's doing so much of this, and when it's like this, it's got a habit of just eking out stops. I mean, we've got a bullish bar there, came down, took it out by a tick, pushed up. Lower high there, came down, pushed up, stopped out. You know what I mean? It's now there is a lower high there, but to be honest with you, it may well work, but it might not because it's clearly going sideways. So you've got another bullish bar there off the key entry point, triggered. Triggered. Where do you think that's going? It's certainly going to take that stop out, isn't it? That one's still holding. But it's just, I think the trick is anything that's slightly congested, I think it's just safer to leave alone. Let me see if I can find that trade. It was a lower high. That was it. What's that gone? Hold on a sec. That was it. No. No. Just said it. It was a second entry short. Ah, that one there. I took it on the mini. 2 legs up. Clear second entry short. There's a higher low trap there. So how far did it go for? I put mine down here. That was I took another one as well. So I put my stop down there. So that got me 5 1/4, which was 207. I took another one for a bit as well. Sure it was earlier than that. Max trades. The thing is with Mac, yeah. The thing is with Mac, he only goes for a point. So much of the time, market will move 4 ticks. Where's that other trade I took? That wasn't it. Or was it? No, it wasn't. It was earlier than that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. It was a lower high back to the EMA. So, was it a higher low back to the EMA? Let's move this out of the way a minute. You win 50 trades and you have lost 2. You win 50 trades, then you have lost, then you have 2 loss. You have to start from scratch. Does anybody find sometimes when they reload a chart from the following day, it looks different? Yeah, to me, it just didn't want to come down that. Some prop firms have traders that have horrible risk management, but their edge is so good it doesn't matter. Yeah. That marks things that I would never take. Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, it's. See, I wish Mac would just do maybe a live stream just once a month or once every few months, just to answer a few questions real time and just to say what he's seeing. Trouble is, really, we've got kind of no idea what trades he takes. And I always had this theory that the reason he does that because he takes trades that are not, that don't follow his rules, because he can. You know, we see these things happen, don't we, in real time, and we know, you change and adapt. But whenever he does post a live trade, he does seem to kind of follow the rules. I just think Mac's been doing it that long. He can just, he just tends to know where things are going to go, and he gets away with kind of the 4 points. So, but the trouble is, I found it sort of intimidating when I started seeing, why is this guy finding a dozen high probability trade? Mind you, he didn't find many last night, and rightly so. It was a naff day yesterday. It was so choppy and just dangerous. But I found it just a little bit soul destroying, because I was thinking, why am I not seeing a dozen high probability trades a day? Now, there may be a dozen high probability trades when you look at the chart at the end of the day, when you can see where price went. But in real time, you've got to rely on that you're reading the chart and it's going to go in the direction that you hope or think it's going to go. And obviously, you'll get better at that with time. The longer you've been doing it, it stands to reason. The longer you've been doing it, the better you're going to get at it. Makes perfect sense. Like any skill, the longer you've been doing it, the better you become. But the trouble is, because there's so much in the way of failing when you're learning to trade, it's very hard to really get that belief that you can do this. And I think sometimes that's why people take risks. And I think that's probably a lot of the reason why sometimes I get a new chart and I take a risk to try and get it to grow because of that lack of belief I can get it up there. You know what I'm saying? How many losses you've had? Yeah. In fact, I'm going to mark out. In fact, I'm going to look back some of my losses and see if they'd have worked with 4 ticks. I'm guessing a fair few of them. But the trouble is, if I go for 12 ticks instead of 4, I can afford a lot more losses effectively. But you've got to be an extremely good trader to make 4 ticks work. Especially at the moment when the ATRs, well, that's the lowest the ATR's been for a long while, but the ATR's been averaging around 6 to 10. Now, if you're risking 8 points to take a point, you've got to be extremely good. You could be winning 90%, 85% of your trades and still not making a profit. So I think going for a point works if you're incredibly good at chart reading. When if you look back at some of Mac's videos, I would say 8 times out of 10, if Mac went for a trade with a tick above and below the signal bar, it was under 2 points. That's 50-50 then, isn't it, really? That's risking 2 to make 1. Now, that's doable. But risking 5, 6, 7, 8 points to make 1, for me, seems like madness, unless you're incredibly good. Now, having said that, Dan said he hadn't lost a trade since October, and he goes for 6 points. So if you're a trader that may only be losing 3 or 4 trades a year, and if that is the case, then you'll make money. Obviously you'll make money with a runner. But if you haven't got a runner, for me as a newer trader or even a less experienced, and I consider myself a less experienced trader, going for a point is you're going to get crucified. 12 points. I know, I'm going for a point. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. So if you're going for it with 12-point risks, you've got to win about, not even winning 95 and 95% of your trades, you could still only be coming out at break even. So the only thing I can come to is Mac's very experienced. He's got masses of self-belief. He's been reading those charts for so long, he probably gets very, very few wrong. If that's the case, you may just take that risk because you've got that much belief in yourself. And if you've got a track record of winning 98%, if he loses 2 trades in every 100, you'll make a point work, even risking 10. But that's not me. I just can't do that. I'm not that good unless he shows me 99% of his win trades a year. You've got to be very, very competent. Now, I'm pretty sure Dan probably averages a couple of trades a day. If he hasn't lost a trade since October and he goes for 50% more profit than Mac, then maybe there's something in it. But the trouble is when, he's quite a private guy, Mac, isn't he? We still know very little about his thought process. So, is this thing going up now? Sam, how you doing, my friend? Long time no see. Have you said something? Oh, you have. I haven't seen. Sorry, mate. I said on YouTube, trading is where they make the most money. I believe it's a lie. They make money from selling courses. I think you're probably right there. What's his name? Who's the big streamer? Oh, gone blank. BDH, what's his name? I've gone blank. Even he admitted he makes way more in affiliates than he does in trading. Patrick, yeah, he said he makes way more in affiliates. Mind you, he did come out and said he was making around about 20,000 a day in affiliates. I can't even fathom that. It's about $400,000 a month. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. $400,000 a month in affiliates. I can't even get my head around that. He's making over $4.5, nearly $5 million a year. That's what he said. Didn't he come out and show it or something? I don't know. I can't get my head around that. A day. I'll probably make that in 2 years. He's making more than Mac Train. Oh, I don't doubt it, yeah. I'd say, yeah, he's making money. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there. I mean, let's say a lot of these streamers that sell courses, I think it's probably right to say 80% of them aren't making. Now, I'm just making a guess. So if you are another streamer and you're selling courses, don't bite me head off. But I tend to think if you're a really good experienced trader, you're probably off enjoying life and, touring the world, traveling the world and making a ton of money. Why would you spend all your time making videos and stuff like that? I dare say there are some people, that kind of like making them. They find it challenging. They like getting their name out there. Some people, they like the entertainment factor. They want to make their name known. I get it. Absolutely. So there are reasons why, even though traders who are making a lot of money might still want to be streamers. Lower high on the 2000 tick. Yeah, I'm not trading here because it's not doing what I'm thinking. This to me looks like a double bottom, so this thing may be working up. So if we go ahead and remove that, is this more of just a range? Your guess is as good as mine. Now, I dare say, having a double bounce, there's probably strong buyers there. So there's probably a ton of stops there. So as price comes back here, are traders getting in, adding to it? I don't know. I'm just guessing. What little I know about the institutional side of trading, it kind of would make sense. Some traders get in. If you've got an order down here, you've taken an order here. Are you buying here? You're still technically in profit here, aren't you, if you're buying? So, price comes down once, it comes down a second. It does look like a double bottom. Well, But I think these conditions require a lot more patience and discipline. I think that's what I've been lacking a little bit over the coming days. And I think it's about analysing your trades, analysing your state of mind and trying to find some, it kind of does remind me of a professional sportsman. And I don't necessarily mean, we're super amazing, talented people who are one-offs. What I mean is it's very, very competitive, this business, as is professional sports. And if you're not on your game, it's very easy to get a slip up. So we've got a little micro channel there with a break and a new low. So is this thing working up? It kind of looks like it might be a spike in a channel. It's not super clear. So let's just make this a little larger here. Is this, I mean, we tried to get down, but it just didn't work. So we push up, side was push up. So technically we've got two legs. Now, if this is a channel and this is a break, we could still come down. So channel, break, new low. I'm still not ready to trade yet because it's still a little bit like this, isn't it? It could come down. It could push up. So possible. Oh, I don't know. Just got to sit tight here, I think. So channel break, new low. So we've got a bounce there. I won't want to trade this at the moment. Because it's looking like it may be pushing up, but I don't know. We may get a second entry long here. It may trigger, then come down. See, look at this now. I'll be concerned there straight away. So that to me is just a bit risky. It's going to get stopped out for sure. But would I want to go short there? There is liquidity there, but trouble is that's a leg and a leg. Do I really want to go short there? I don't think it's a terrible trade. Trouble is we've got support along here, so you've got to be careful. It may bounce and push up. I mean, we tried multiple times to get down and we couldn't, and then it went higher. So I think a short down here, I think it'd probably work. But if there is buying here, then it's an area of support which may hold. So for me at the moment, I think I kind of have to sit tight here. Potential upside channel, yeah. I mean, look at that. If you went short there now, your arse would be twitching a good one, wouldn't it? So it's just not super clear. It's a bit choppy here. There's clearly support here. So I think going short into it probably isn't the best course of action. Conditions are hard as well, aren't they? So I think you need to... We all have those trades where we go, I like this, and you can't click the button quick enough. So is that going to get stopped out? Yeah, it certainly is. It is frustrating, isn't it? It kind of gives you that impression price is coming down, it pushes up and stops you out. And then half the time it continues down. So it's just... Going short into support is probably asking for trouble, so I'm glad I left it, actually. So at least my trade choice and discipline is a little improved today. I think the key is waiting for those trades where you literally can't click the button quick enough. And that wasn't one of them. There's too much can go wrong there in the middle of this. Coming off 3 tests. That's what I mean, yeah. there's clearly support. We've pushed up, bounce 1, 2, 3. So going short into it is just, it's asking for trouble, isn't it? And it's still a little bit choppy. I keep reminding myself, if I could take 3 trades for $150 in a week, you can earn all the profit you want. NQ has confirmation, a channel up. Let's have a look at it. 2000 tick. Let's have a look. I used to have the NQ maybe a year and a half ago, right next by my side, just as kind of extra confirmation. Yeah, trouble is there may be an overshoot there. So we've pushed up with a little bit of an overshoot and maybe had a bounce here. So I'm not convinced this isn't going to go down and break these lows. It's not super clear. If I take that out there, I don't know. We've kind of got 2 legs down and a bullish bar. So, I mean, we've had 3 bounces there, haven't we? So there's bound to be, this is a key level for buyers, isn't it? Obviously. So what's likely going to happen? We're going to push up to this other level. Kind of makes sense. So it makes sense we're not looking for shorts at the moment, I think. Yeah, so we've broken above that bar and it's gone up strongly. So 1, 2, 3 clear bounces. Now this, I'm assuming, for a swing trader will be considered a key level. 3 clear bounces here. It makes sense we go higher. I don't know about you guys, but 12 points in 2 seconds, yeah. So we've had, let's call this 1 bounce, a 2nd bounce and a 3rd bounce. So, yeah, kind of makes sense that. Now, it doesn't mean price won't still attempt to go lower. I'm assuming by a question you're emotionally attached to the outcome of any individual trade. You're not talking to me, Tone. If you want, you have accepted the risk. You have a proven strategy. No, I didn't think so. So we've pushed up and we've hit a little bit of support there. So yeah, I thought so. So let's just have a quick glance at this again. This 2000 tick chart on the left a bit. Touch, 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 touch. Now that could, I think it looks okay as a channel. Now the reason I think it looks okay as a trend channel is we've come down here and we've bounced. We couldn't get down the bottom. Now when that happens, we often have a break. So we're having a break at the moment. So let's say we've got a couple of legs up, maybe not quite like that, but 2 legs up. We're clearly struggling to go up. So I'm still not convinced this thing isn't going to make an attempt at these lows. You know, this isn't pushing up strongly. It's struggling. And now on this chart I've got here, it's a little bit of a flat spot here. So I'm not convinced this still isn't going to come down. We've had 2 legs back, 2 legs up. We just have to kind of keep an eye on it. It's not super clear. Conditions are a bit hard. So trade choice has to be really strict and wait for these clear, obvious ones. So we've had a little bit of sideways here. So we've had one attempt to go higher, 2 legs back, and a second attempt to go higher. This thing to me looks like it's struggling to get up. I'm not saying it won't. But it is just going a little bit nowhere at the moment, a little bit up and down. Yeah, you do kind of feel like a professional sportsman to a degree, don't you? You've constantly got to be on your game. Yeah, I usually have VWAP on one of my charts. Yeah, so there's one or two others got that same chart. So, yeah, I'm not convinced this isn't going to break these lows, or at least make another attempt to. There's a lower high there, but we're right in the middle of this. So, not just that, we've had kind of a leg and a leg up. We may have a leg and a leg down, but trading in here for me is just suicidal at the moment. Yeah, see, looking at that NQ now, all of a sudden, it's not looking so rosy, is it? Channel up, 2 legs back, bounce off here, pushed up a little bit, straight down, stop date. So that's why I'm not convinced this thing is definitely going to get up. And not only that, if there is a channel there, maybe an overshoot. Now, overshoots can do a bunch of things. Sometimes it'll pull back, push up, make a new high and reverse. Sometimes we'll have a bigger correction and it'll push up. Sometimes we'll get a small breakout the opposite side and it'll continue on. So that may be a correction, and it's still, in other words, it's looking like this, a correction and then followed by a move up. It's not super clear. Yeah, 12 points on the ES isn't much. It's only a tiny move on the ES, to be fair. So if you think it's, if you think he's, you sounded like he's got a massive move. It's not as big a move as you think. So let's have a look. What did you say? Points. So 12 points. Yeah, there's 12 points. It doesn't have to move far to get 12 points, to be honest with you. Yeah, you'd expect to get that off depending on where you go. That's why I like trading these on the evaluations. I put mine at 65 ticks. So that's that area there. So it's very easy to get that move. If you get a little bit of news or something like that, it's very easy to grab that move. The bigger the move, the more chance it's got of sucking up some of your drawdown and then taking it out. So 2 legs back, bullish bar. 2 legs back, bullish bar. 1, 2, 3, triple test.
Order submitted.
What have I just done? Oh, I'm going to come out here there because I think I've just got into a trade by accident there on the wrong chart. Let's just get out here.
Order filled.
Am I out? Yeah, I'm out. What happened there? What did happen there? Oh, I took a trade on the bloody NQ. I on a bike. I thought I was looking at this chart. 2 legs back, bullish bar. Oh my God, Lance, get a grip. Oh, I nearly got myself into some trouble there. At least I made $13 after fees. So I'm looking at this 2 legs back. I just assumed I was looking at the ES there. It's 1, 2, 3, clearly triple test. The one thing that's going for me is if the NQ goes up, chances are, yeah, if Daryl, how you doing, buddy? If the NQ goes up, chances are this is as well. So I was very tempted to put me profit up to there then, but the sensible thing to do is just to get out. I made a mistake there. I thought I was trading the, but that NQ trade is working lovely. I just assumed I was looking at a triple test there. I was, but on the wrong chart. So that's a nice little move there. So what's it go for? 12 points. There you go. You've got 15 out of that comfortably. And I'll be surprised if that doesn't continue on up. That's a good strong move there. Once, twice, triple test, clearly. 2 legs back. I'm not sure whether that's valid, but what I will say is we've got a push up and clear triple test. So I think for an NQ trader, that is a solid trade. Let's see, boy. I need to start focusing. Well, at least I got a bit of profit. That counts as a trading day anyway. So if I don't take nothing else, at least it counts as a day. Yeah, how you doing, Daryl? Not fantastic conditions lately, are they? Tough. I traded all last week due to the ATR. Thankfully, ATR started to come down on the ES. Yeah, I traded all, didn't I, for, I don't know, maybe a month or so. And I just, I got a message from Marco, actually, a couple of weeks ago. Where is it? He's looking at oil as well. Let's have a look. We talk that much about whiskey, I've got to filter through. I missed that whiskey. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, why can't I move that? Oh, that's strange. I can't move it. Anyway, where was it? Check out the CL 425. Vladimir trading it besides the ES, and I must say setups that are way easier to follow. Clear PA than the ES currently. Give it a look. Let me know. 500 tick chart. I think I looked at it the other day and couldn't get it to work. And then someone reminded me it rolls over every month. So let's just have a look at it. CL, is it the 5th or 6th? We'll soon see. 500 tick chart. Okay, so we're fine. Loading. Okay. This is oil. Trouble is, I got caught out once with the news. So this is the 500 tick chart. Wow, I can see where you go for the 500. There's very little price action, isn't there? Let's have a look at this. If you trade price action, you can trade any time frame. So look at this, 2 legs down. Now, is there any trades there? Chop, not much you can do there. Leg back. If you like this chart, it's not really much here either, really, is there? A leg and a leg. So, I suppose it's worth looking at, isn't it? It's trying to find the...
Order filled.
So don't stress if you just do something. I've just bought on a mini just to see how that works. So that's one contract. So if I was going along there, that would be my risk. So one contract on the 500 tick chart is not terrible risk, is it? So I don't know if you're going for 1-to-1 or something like that. So let me have a look. So I'm a tick short there. So let's give that one plus the tick below. So my risk would be 150 on that trade if I was going to take a long there. So one contract works out not too bad, actually. So clear 2 legs down. The trouble is, when they're close together like this, it's very easy to confuse that with 2 legs, and it may just be a channel which may hit this and drop. But there you go. So anyway, it's only on the yeah, I've made $80
Target
frictional
filled.
dollars. Happy days. But yeah, oil, something worth looking at. Just pay attention there if you do have a go at that. There is news that directly affects oil. Just having the standard news on here, you have to look at the oil as well. If you look at, I think they have, I can't remember now, it's been a while since I've traded it, but it works kind of very similar to the S. It doesn't work in correlation with it like the NQ does, but trading the 500 tick chart, average risk one contract is about 150, which is not too bad. So it's someone else to look at, but just be aware of news that's directly related to oil. But Vlad trades it, and I think a few people. Who else was it? I think Vlad's been trading it for a couple of years. I remember there was some people in the Facebook group talking about it maybe a year ago, and I looked at it for a while. I can't remember why I stopped looking at it now, but keep an eye on all inventories, high impact news. Yeah, so I wasn't actually trading at the time, but it did move quick, and I wasn't expecting it. So, and also it rolls over every month as well. So, if you open up your chart and all of a sudden you realise, why am I seeing any bars? Try rolling over. So it's certainly worth looking at, especially at the moment. So what's the ATR on this at the moment? I don't know how it works. It's hard to plot it, but one contract. I mean, if you were going short there,
Order filled.
I mean, look at that. Depending on your average size of a bar, it's a relatively balanced risk, so it's not too bad if you want to trade something a bit different. So yeah, something to think about. at least we're getting a bit of a trend with it. This at the moment, it's just a kind of a, it's very choppy. I mean, look at that. We've just switched over. Look at all this mess. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just don't get stuck having to take delivery. Yeah, I'm not even sure this is a channel now. This to me just looks like sideways. You got bearish bar. See, I don't mind days like this. I just have to. Sometimes you need a couple of days like this just to get your discipline to kick in. Yeah, the NQ is doing the same thing, really, isn't it? More or less sometimes these are identical. Sometimes they're quite different. But we kind of got two legs up and then we're just going up, down, up, down, up, down. And while this is happening, I'm just going to take advantage and take a quick few-minute break. And make myself a quick cup of tea. So sit tight for 3 or 4 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, let's just get this camera sorted out. Okay. Well, I never saw that coming. I did wonder. I mean, that shut up. So we kind of got. Well, we're slowly working, aren't we? And that thing just shut up. 30 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. So that's where you wanted to be going along. Options expire in a week, so there might be some spikes. So I did wonder whether this was going to be the bottom. We had a double bottom there, and obviously I'm guessing there are traders, you know, maybe taking positions here for the push up for the day. I think this is probably the way I see it, going to stay the low of the day at least for a while. So we're kind of around here. There's kind of a lot of choppy around here. So we've kind of had a leg and a leg up. So maybe we get a couple of legs and then maybe some more. Who knows? So break new high. There's a lower high there. I'm not convinced it is a break. It may be a small break. I mean, Dan would spot that. He's very good at spotting those. So that to me does look like a break with a lower high, but the lower high hasn't triggered. Is this thing coming back to the EMA? I think it probably is.
Order submitted.
Come on, get me.
Order submitted.
Right, I'm just going to put this to the EMA. I'm not going to be greedy here. Come on, push down. Oh. Take me out. Come on.
Order filled.
Yeah, I just wanted out of that one with a day's profit. 10 ticks. So what did I get there? 2.5 points. The way things are at the moment, I just want me profit. So let's call that a failure. Fail second entry long. 2.5 points. Plus 2.5 points. Now that's roughly half the ATR, just over half the ATR at the moment. Now I could have held, but the way things have been lately, I just want a bit of profit. How much did it come down? It came down, say about 5 stuff. So I've got it down to about 5, depending on where you got in. I got in a bit lower than that, to be fair. Yeah, I got in lower than that. I thought I did. So there's probably a tick too. So I've probably got in a few ticks. So there's 4. So I got in probably a couple. There's 1, 2, 3. So I'm probably 2 or 3 ticks lower than I wanted to there. And I have mine set at 5 points, so it won't have pushed through yet. So what? Let's say there it's 575. And I got in there 5, so I probably got in an extra 2 ticks. 1 tick, probably an extra 2 to 3 ticks lower. But I expected it to get back to the EMA, so yeah, so I got 3 ticks there and 10 ticks there. So I'm up 3 points and a bit. I do like this. It's really useful to have that, actually. So I'm not going to mark that. That was pure accident. The reason I wanted to get out is I still think this is likely going to push up some more. So let's just kill that a second. So tight channel, break new high, lower high didn't trigger, but the failure did, and it came back to the EMA. That's all I was really interested in. So to take profit out, all I need to do is get minimum of $50, which I've done for 3 days now. So 2 more days of $50. The other 2 days I can flip. So I just want to get a payment. I'm more concerned about getting a payment. So so I'm happy with the profit. So after fees, it's about $71 per account, so it's not too bad. So this is the so yeah, it worked the same, but there wasn't a failure. So channel, tight channel, break new high, lower high worked. Now normally if I was taking this, I'd go for 3 points, which clearly worked. Back to the EMA, yeah, more or less. So that lower high worked. So they're effective, those. There's a trade I've never bothered too much with. You can clearly see we've got a channel, a break new high, and it looks kind of like a couple of legs. If you get a lower high, almost always is kind of bearish bar with a lower high, almost always gets back to the EMA. So that's a trade I've never taken too much. But I notice if you look at Dan's charts, if you are on Dan's forums, incidentally, look at his end of day videos he does once a week. It's very much like having Mac, but having someone discussing exactly what they're seeing, and he takes a lot of those types of trades. In fact, I'll be surprised if he hasn't taken that. I'm just going to mark this and see if he takes it. That's the type of trade he'd take. See what he says. So it's basically the lower high that didn't trigger, so I've just marked it as the same sort of thing, and that would have worked. But you can clearly see I didn't take it. He didn't take it. No, I'm surprised. That's kind of his. Interesting to see if Mac marks that, because it is on the 2000 tick chart. Not only that, Clearly push new high, lower high back to the EMA. No. Yeah, he said he didn't take it when I showed him on there, but it's a lower high there. It's a failure there. So we have 1, 2, 3 attempts to push higher. You expect that to come back to the EMA. So I think it's a better setup there. I think it's a better setup on the MES. I mean, failures are always better if you know, obviously a second entry long fail. It's not the great buy and bar in all fairness, but I've got you. Yeah, maybe you take it on the MES if you're not using the ES. Yeah. And not only that, I've actually got a little small channel there. Which looks okay. You expect that to get back to the EMA, I think. Yeah. He did say there, yeah, he said it's better on the it's better than the lower high. I didn't take the lower high, that was on the ES. But here we made 3 attempts, so you'd expect to get back to the EMA. Based on that, I think it's fine to take on the MES. That'll do me. Not only that, if you think about it, we've had a leg, sideways and a leg, so we've had 2 pushes up, haven't we? So got you. Yeah. So leg and a leg. Now where are we going? So that ATR does start to be starting to settle now. We're just below 4.5. So I think tomorrow, well, it's dropping. I think tomorrow I'll go back onto the mini. I think, although this is a little bit lesser risk, it's much easier to manage risk on here. The trouble is if you are on the mini and we happen to get a big bar. You know, a lot of traders will say, make sure you know your risk before you take the trade. Well, that's okay to a degree, or make sure your risk is the same every time. It's not that easy to do here because our signal, our stop goes below or above or below the signal bar, and that signal bar is constantly a different size. We kind of know roughly where it is, but, you know, the ATR is 4 at the moment, but, you know, you can have a smaller signal bar or you can have a large signal bar. So it's a little bit harder, so I suppose it's easy to wear on the side of a little bit lower than a little bit higher. So that's the beauty of having the MES. You know, you can trade from 1 to 10, so you can come up in a lot smaller increments than you can, you know, trade in the ES. So we got 2 legs down, a little bounce there between the, well, little bounce in the range there. So I don't know. It's swinging quite wildly, isn't it? I'm guessing that was the news, wasn't it? Or was it? No, it can't have been. Some do we have news? That was this morning. I mean, for overnight highs and lows, that's a fair old move, isn't it? 80 points. I mean, 3 of those bars, got to be 60 points in 3 bars. You don't often see that overnight. There must have been some kind of news. There must have been something said. Trouble is, that's about 9:30 UK time. Most of you US guys are going to be tucked up in your beds at that time of the morning. 9:30, 8 or 7 or 6, R5, R4 on the East Coast. So I don't know. Maybe something happened. US has different zones. I think the market is open at 6, isn't it? Yeah, but if it's 9:30 in the morning here, the closest is the East Coast. So kind of an East Coast of 5 hours behind us. Well, between 5 on the East Coast and 8. So at 9:30 in the morning UK time, it's going to be 4:30 at the earliest in the US. Well, between 4:30 and kind of 1:30 in the morning. So you tend to think most people are in bed at that time. Certainly anybody who may kind of, you know, introduce any kind of I don't know, a tweet or news or something. But maybe that was just a double bounce and, you know, strong positions jumped in there, which may have caused I don't know. It's unusual for overnight to have, you know, 3 bars of kind of 50 points that quick. I mean, whether it was quick or not, but you tend to think bars that sort of positive tend to happen relatively quick. So who knows? Yeah, 6 in Eastern time, is it? Sorry, the Western, is it Western Central? What do you call it? Pacific time. So Pacific time, if it's 9:30 in the morning here, what, you're 8 hours, aren't you? So it'll be 1:30 in the morning. So between 1:30 and 4:30, depending on what part of the US you live. But you tend to think there's going to be less news coming out at that time when probably 95% of the population are in bed. So I've moved that down a bit because it seems to be working with that midline. So we'll see. £1 of a huge egg. Week for chocolates. Are the markets open Friday and Monday? Does anybody know? I mean, that's Easter in the UK. Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday. But I'm sure, I can't think, I've been trading these markets now for 4 years. You think I'd know whether Easter is a holiday in the US. Friday, is it really? Monday's open as normal? Yeah, I think it's just because Monday is bank holiday in the UK. So I think it's probably just Friday, isn't it? tomorrow open normal. So what is it? Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? So it's just Friday then, is it? I think. Yeah. Sounds about right, isn't it? Just going to put that there. I think that seems to look a little better. There may be a small break there. See, looking at these two, that fits nice there. Maybe a small break. This looks a little bit more like a break. And a new low. It's definitely not. I mean, sometimes you can read these charts like a book. Other times they're just kind of, there's a lot of randomness around. You know, every time we got up here, we're down here. Every time we hit highs, we're hitting different levels. We bounced here, we bounced here. It's kind of hard to, I mean, if you were trading levels, kind of hard to trade. Mind you, if you were trading levels, you'd probably have a higher time frame. It's probably a bit more clear. So if you went on to, let's say, the hourly, yeah, it's not super clear, is it? This is the hourly. Got this move down, 2 attempts to push up. So is this actually coming down now and breaking these levels? Who knows? But we had a push up, it pulled back, went a bit sideways, a drop, big strong push up, then a pullback. So on the hourly, it's pushed right up and dropped. So depending on when this is due to close, I mean, this is looking kind of bearish. If this close is very bearish, I'd expect this to push down, at least attempt to test these lows or break them. So, you know, this is a kind of a key level. Is there one here? Maybe there's a few little bounces there, so maybe there is a level there. Depends how you trade and how you look at these things, doesn't it? So there's definitely a bit of a level there. But if we can break through this, then you'd have to kind of think this area, wouldn't you? But I don't know. I'm not really a swing trader as such. Who knows? So I'd say there's a good chance we get a small break there, followed by a quick drop. Now there's about to be liquidity here, and that looks like it's about to get eaten up. I mean, we've got a double bottom here. We push up. Our traders entering more there, adding to their trade. Who knows? No London session, yeah. Got you. Tomorrow normal, Friday close, that's fine. Yeah, so Dan's got the same. That's my 2000 tick chart, that's his. So he's got this with a small break. Same as that. I've noticed with Dan, he keeps his charts very tight. So I've started trying to do that myself a little bit. Surprising how much it makes a difference, which is why I kept that tight. It's a little clearer, that is tight, and then all of a sudden we do veer. So we know there's support along here. Let's see if this support holds or it gets broken. So we've got 1, 2, triple test there. Well, depends where you buy there, but that's kind of the buck in this. That's where the I'm trying to think of. That's the kind of line in the sand. If it gets below there, then it could come down and finally. So move down like that. 2 legs up. I mean, you wouldn't consider that a break and a new low. You'd have expected it to come down there, but it does look like we've come off these levels. You can clearly see there's some support up there. But if it gets below this, it looks like it might do, then it's going to try and target this, isn't it, I suppose? But it is swinging quite wildly today. So we have broke below there. Let's see what happens there. And a buyer's going to come in there. If there's buyers down here at this double bottom, I dare say there may be buyers added on there. I mean, if you entered here, you're still in profit. So I suppose, you know, is it much safer to buy, to add on while you're in profit as opposed to adding to a losing trade? I've never quite understood the concept there, but there are people who do it. But some of the trades I've seen where people add to it can get out of hand really quick. So I suppose you really got to know what you're doing. So there's quite a stem there, so I dare say there is some buying there. But I'm staying out of these types of trades, I am. So channel break, 2 pushes to a new low, or at least 2 or 3 pushes. So it'll be interesting to see now with these buyers here, if this thing gets below there, then I think it's going to target these areas, or it's going to get a little bit easier getting down there. Let's see if this bull bar gets triggered here. So if this gets triggered, it'd be interesting to see if it comes straight down. Yeah, it has. So we have broken this level now, so it could continue down. It's just too dangerous to add there, to be fair, or to go long there. I mean, where's that thing going? I mean, that's a big ass bar, that is. You don't want to be getting stopped out there. But I feel it may happen. See, we'll have taken out a bunch of stops there. Okay, so we broke through this level here, so I think the natural, the next kind of line in the sand is down here. Right, does look like it may kind of be a couple of legs as well. So, leg and a leg. That would take us below here. That's if it works, of course. Okay, so I'm going to knock on the head today. So we're coming up 2 hours, 45 minutes. I'm up nicely today after fees, about $71 per account. So that's classed as a profitable day. So that gets me a little bit more closer to my my next payout. So I appreciate your company, ladies and gents. Best of luck if you're carrying on trading. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch up tomorrow. So no trading Friday. It's just not worth it. I've given up even bothering on holidays. The market only opens for half a day. It's usually like watching paint dry, but worse. So there you go. So have a great evening. Best of luck to you. Thanks, Daryl. And we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.